everybody, welcome back. I am doing more planner pages today. These were the last ones that you may have seen on a different video. And as I turn the page now, I have a whole new thing going on. From April of this year, 2021, we had an exhibit here in Greenville, Wings of the City, and these are my two pages. So today we are going to make these pages together. You're going to kind of craft with me, and I'll share all kinds of little tips. I'm going to talk about new dies, new stamps, all kinds of goodies. So let's get right into it. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that this was the last spread in my regular planner. This is the full-size planner. So I'm going to begin over here. I have somewhat of a plan in place already, so I thought I would share my process. I have all kinds of goodies here on my table. So I'm just gathering some things. I'm making a plan as usual. And this side of this page is a-okay. However, I don't want to use that as my background for it. So I am going to cover that up with this. I'm going to glue those together. I have my whole reinforcers over here because I already know what this color is going to be over on this side too. So I'm getting that ready, and I'm using some brand new dies, as you can see. This one is Planner Essentials 40, the number page. It's got all this great stuff on it, and I am going to use this piece here, you'll see in a minute, and this is the big page die with all those numbers cut out of it. So that's great. And then of course a little tag and this heart border. So that's what I've done here, and I've layered, because it is a cutaway, I've layered that onto another piece of paper. And all the papers so far that you see are from Reminiscence The Book number 1. I kind of go back and forth with 1 and 2. It just depends on what colors I want. So I have cut out just a strip here because I'm kind of thinking about blues and oranges and patina, because when you see the photos that I'm going to use, you'll see why. So here's a strip that has this blue in it over here. That's that really great die cut that looks like that. So many things you can do with that, and I'm just kind of going to use it as a design element today over here, but lots of ideas. This great banner has been die cut from another new set, and there's so many pieces on the set, you guys. Wow. So here's the banner, and I'll tell you the name of the set. There's the main banner, and then there's so many. There's another one that goes with it that has that skinny outline. So this one is Planner Essentials 42 3x4 cards. So you can see there's a lot of the 3x4 frames, which I am going to use a lot today. Some of them have words. There's a couple of butterflies in this set and arrows. There's some banner kind of pennants up here. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. And I hope to use a lot of those today. I'll show you. Okay, so as you can see, I have that die cut twice. I've got that border on the outside edge and then that pretty paper in there. Now, this one isn't from Reminiscence. This is from, hold on, Rainbow of Happiness. See how I've cut apart this? Because this is actually on the, the packaging, and I used some of the paper back there, but the name is still there, Rainbow of Happiness. So this is also Elizabeth Crafts Designs, and it's from their art journal series. So there was some really cool, like orange, that's where this came from. Look at that. Some kind of burnt orange, kind of marbly looking stuff. Got that guy and then that guy. And so I'm formulating a plan, because I know that my photos are going to be of this wonderful art exhibit that they've had here in Greenville that is going to be here till I think October. It's called Wings of the City. So I want to put that title in there somehow, some way. I'm even thinking about incorporating one of the butterflies and just using the wings as part of the design. So holding on that. And then I've got this guy. And this is, again, that paper I just showed you from Rainbow of Happiness. And this is from another new die coming, Planner Essentials 39, the Torn Page Weekly Frame. So, of course, you got your big torn page die, but then you've also got this guy. And if you can see in the corners, there's a double slit. Super awesome, very clever. So now you can tuck in things. You can tuck into both of them and have it come back out. Let me see if I can do it real quick. And go under the little slit and come back out like so, which is cute. But I'm just going to go behind that second one with my little stamped list thing here. I will definitely put the link to the name of this one below. I don't know it right now and I'm waiting for an answer. So I'm going to put that over here. And the whole idea is I'm going to have 9 photos and I'm going to do some flips and flaps here, but I want to identify, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to have to add a little bit more here for 8 and 9, but there's 9 statues in this exhibit and I want to name them and maybe write a little something about each one. So I'll have to incorporate 2 more to my little list thing here. So I'm thinking that's going to go on that page and kind of hang off a little bit. And the big thing that I'm kind of trying to figure out is how to get all the photos on here that I want. So let's talk about that. Okay, so I have it in my head that I want to have sort of a cascading photo thing going on here. And so right away I had to, so first of all I took this die, which is that one I showed you with all the 3x4s that I mentioned earlier. Again, I will link everything below, but there's all these parts. This is not part of it. So this is one, and then the frame is another, and then there is a piece like this that comes away when you do the other side. So I'm kind of thinking like that's going to be on that side and this is going to be on this side. My photo is going to go in here, so you won't see a lot of this pretty patina paper, but you will on some of these other ones. But just so you know how I did this, I die cut the piece, I die cut another piece, just the solid tag, and then this thing right here is from, it's this die right here, has this little ragged edge, which doesn't show in my case today. Sidekick Essentials 16, the seed packet set. I think I used this not long ago in my nature journal. I'm just using this part of it to help me have something like that. Okay, and then I will do another one down here, of course. So let's say that one's there. But then you've got like 3 where there's 2 and 1 ring and then 2 and 1 ring. So what I did is I grabbed some of that same cardstock and then I just grabbed like any page die. So, you know, for example, this one. Doesn't matter. Something that just has that straight edge with the holes along the side. And Elizabeth Crafts carries a die that is just this right here, but I had these out. I might as well just use these. And so I just kind of planned it out that I wanted something to go 2 and 1 and then 1 and 2. So I just laid down this piece of cardstock and used this die to make sure I got 1, 2, and 3. Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right, and depends on your use, but for now, these are 1.5 inch wide by 4.5 inches tall. They really can't be any shorter this way. It would be a little bit too close to those holes, and I think that would compromise the strength. So when I did the next one, which would be 1 and 2, this is 2 and 1. See how different they are? Same thing, just shifted it down so that it cut down here. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And so I'll kind of show you what I'm thinking. And if you notice, because we are going to see these, you'll see, I did round the corners. I just have a little corner rounder punch here. So I rounded all 4 corners. So it just has, you know, a pretty look, because the die one that we used before does have the rounded corners over here, but this part's going to get covered up. All of this will make sense. So here goes this one, and then this one, and then my original one right here. Okay, so each one of these is going to have something like this on them. And then, like I said, these are taller, so they don't hide away nicely like this one does. So really, I'm just gonna probably do it. Look at all these pieces and parts here. Let's take that away. Probably just going to do it like that. You know, who cares if it hangs off the top and the bottom? It's rounded, it looks nice. You could use an edge die if you wanted to make it, but really that's the only part that's going to show, because when I flip it over, I'm going to have this on the back, and I may have another one of those border frames. I don't know about that side. Probably this side is going to have this. So that's how I did that. So I'm going to work on this a little bit. I'm going to do some stamping and kind of get it a little further, and I'll come back and show you what's going on. Right now it looks a little bit funny, but I just want to kind of show you that this is going to work out. I just sort of have things tacked together loosely. I don't have my photos printed yet, but this is how it's going to look. And so we have 4 flaps, and we'll have both sides. They're not like perfectly like waterfalled separated, which I kind of like. And then we have this guy over here. And so I thought I would show you very quickly the stamp, how it really looks and what I did to it. So, and it's a very large stamp. So the best way, let me get this magnet off of here. The best way I found to stamp something this big is to use my Misty. I don't know if everybody has something like this. If you have a big stamp block, that's going to work just fine too. But I have a piece of just some, in fact I'll use this side, just some kind of textured looking paper. And I have my stamp over here. I've already planned, you know, where it's going to land and everything. And so I'm going to grab my VersaFine ink. That's my favorite. Whoa! Got away from me. Almost lost it. Okay, and I'll go ahead and stamp the whole thing, because I can always use the other parts on something later. I really only need 2 more of these, if you remember, because I already have 1 full sheet done. But I'm going to bring it on around and give it a press. And then you'll see everything that is on this stamp set, and then what I did for my planner page. So there you go. I mean, this is going to be a great one for future planner pages. Absolutely. But for my case, I wasn't really looking to do like, see how it says this week, first day, second day, third day, etc. Great. However, for my purposes, I didn't really want that, but I liked these divisions, so I cut away that left-hand column and the top part that said this week, and just, you know, cut around the whole business. So now this will fit in there like I showed you earlier, and then I plan to use this stamp set. This is a little older one from Elizabeth Crafts, but not terribly old. Pieces of Life #1, Numbers and More. And it has all these that are pretty close to being a good size. They're just a little big, but I think that's going to be okay. I can kind of go off the edge a little, make it a little artsy instead of so perfect right in the middle. And I'll be stamping 1 through 9. And so with this piece, I've got to cut away 2 more. Doesn't matter what 2, I'm going to cut these 2. And I'm going to work them in somewhere. That is for me to figure out a little bit later. So I have this ready. I'm going to go to my phone, even though I already know the photos, and that's how I've determined all my colors. I am going to go to the phone and I'm going to upload everything to my computer to print out to the size that I need. I have my little sizes written over here. I've already measured everything. And I have a plan. So let me go do that and I will be back. Okay, I went ahead and did a whole bunch of stuff. So let's take a look. So I printed my photos out and cut them out and mounted them. This is my main photo over here, and I'm going to use my little banner, which I wrote myself. Don't judge. Wings of the City. I was going to stamp it, but I didn't have just the right stamp. So that will probably go right there. And let's just go over here first. Here is my list page here. And those stamps, those number stamps, worked out really well. They actually fit in there just fine. And so it does start with 3, as you can see, because 1 and 2 will be over there. And I was just going to put 1 and 2 here. There they are. But I thought, well, I kind of need an intro to what this is. You know, you have to talk about what it is, when it was, all that good stuff. So that's what this will be for. So I will probably put that there. I'll glue that above it. And then this has this little tab that you can lift up and you can start reading about each one. And so those numbers correlate to the numbers that I have put over here. So let's zoom in a little bit. These numbers, you may wonder, and there's number 1, by the way. You may wonder what those are. Well, that's a brand new die too. This is the Planner Essentials 37 Stitched Alphabet, and it's awesome because it is the entire alphabet and the numbers 0 through 9. So perfect. Remember this when it comes to December daily, day by day. Okay, so I just went ahead and cut out those numbers on just some plain, you know, textured ivory cardstock, and I adhered my photos to my little flaps here. And so it does go 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 6 and 3, 7 and 4, 5, and then 9. So that's pretty cool, right? Okay, so there's a couple things I want to do yet. Besides putting these on, I'm looking at all this orange space over here, and I want to do something about that. But before I do that, I did want to tell you that I ditched the butterfly. I decided it just didn't have a place to go. So I do have it all ready to go, sticky backed and cut on this pretty paper. So I'll save that for something else. But I did want to talk about the stamping just for a minute. So when you get a brand new stamp, some people don't know this, some do. I'll just reiterate it. When you get a brand new stamp, so the stamps that we use from Elizabeth Crafts tend to need to be conditioned a little bit. So if you just took the stamp and you stamped, you might get frustrated if it looks like that. It's not great. Even if I inked it up again, it might get a little better, but it's still got that kind of look to it. Well, the easy fix is, let me just clean that off for a second. Just to take, I just use this big white artist eraser. And I don't know if there's like a little film from production, but I just kind of rub that on there and then kind of scuff it off on a stamp cleaner. And then that usually does the trick. It might take, now of course this ink is wet, but when it dries, because that's how a lot of them looked right there when I did them on my page. But as they have dried, you can see that they look pretty darn good. Nice and solid. So that's just a little tip. And the other thing I didn't want to forget is I got the name of that stamp set while I was creating, and it is All the Details. So this one here. Okay. One other thing that I like to do and I find very helpful, especially with certain dies, is, and maybe many of you do this already, is you take your die set and right away you just cut out all the pieces. And I just grab, you know, scraps of whatever. It doesn't even matter what color. This is very helpful for certain ones because there might be words. There might be, oh, this is a good example right here. So this new set, Planner Essentials 43, circle words, look at all that. And it's in like cursive writing. So it's really, really hard to figure out what those say. So I have gone and die cut all of them, put some of the double-sided adhesive on the back, of course, and then stuck it right down on the board that's behind my magnet sheet. So that way I can kind of figure out what's what and find them maybe a little bit easier on here. So that's another tip. Okay, everything is in place. I did add my little banner here. I just put adhesive on each side and left it free, and it kind of bows a little bit, so it has a little bit of dimension there. I have done all my journaling, as you can see here, describing everything, and over here as well. And you know, remember how I talked about this area here being very orange, so I went ahead and added hole reinforcers to every one of those as well as to the tops of each of these. At this point, I don't think that I'm going to put any kind of twine or anything in the top of that. I think it's going to be a little too distracting And I did actually add the butterfly in there. I just kind of cut him off so he could fit and not overlap onto anything, and just tucked it right in that space, and I think that works out really well. So I'm going to call it done. I'm pretty happy with it. So let me know how you like it. Let me know what you think. These are brand new dies, so check out the supply list below. I'm going to link to everything that I used today. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you join me again soon, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks again.